I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. It's great to have you on the radio.
Fantastic. It's lovely to be here.
Let's talk about this Manchester school that's teaching meditation as well as maths and all these other things, but obviously getting us in line, getting our Zen absolutely bang on.
Absolutely.
Are you a parent that is sending your child to this school? What's your story behind it?
Well, I'm pro. I've got 3 children who I home educate. So we're
Can I ask you a
not
question
going...
on that? Why did you
Yeah, of
decide?
course you can.
Why did you decide to home educate rather than mainstream school?
Well, we only had one child who was at school, and he went there till he was 7. But he just really found that he wasn't challenged enough. And as much as the teachers want to offer their support, he was very much into science, and they just, within the restrictions of the national curriculum, they just can't offer the nurture to children who, want to develop further skills and have interests. So we started to just research home education, and in the end decided to take him out, and it's been the best thing we've ever done.
How does that work with your schedule?
In terms of, do I work, do you mean?
Yeah, were you
like
working
that?
originally?
Yeah.
Did you have to give up your job to do it, or what? How did it work?
Yeah, we decided to go on to one income, so my husband supports us now.
Yeah.
We're not well off by any means. It is a struggle at times, and that's true of very many home educators that I know. It's something that you do, and you have to take that into account. You have to fund yourself as well. We are self-funded. You don't get any funding from the government to support you. But we decided to make that choice that we wouldn't go for luxury items, and we wouldn't go on expensive holidays for a period of time, and we'd give our time to our children instead.
Okay, so you're doing that now with 3 children, is that correct?
With 3 children, yeah.
Wow, you're brave.
One,
okay.
and, yeah, we've got 2 more.
Okay, so what does a normal, before we get on to obviously the meditation school, what does like a normal school day look like then for your child?
It's very different to what people think. When you say homeschool, I think they think that you sit around a table all day, and it's, you're isolating your children, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Manchester is home to a massive home education network, of which I'm a part. I help organise activities, as do a number of other parents out there. We would spend the morning generally doing a little bit of maths and a bit of English with both of them, because my children are quite academic. That's just the way that they are. My eldest wants to be a physicist at 11. He knows what he wants to do.
Wow.
So we need to do those things. I still don't know what I'm doing, I suppose. But then we will go out in the afternoon and we will do a variety of things. Today we've been at the Young Voices sort of choir that we've set up, which a lot of schools do around Manchester. It's a big concert, and sort of early part of next year. We go to the universities. I'm not a physicist, so I've set up, made contacts at Manchester University with people who will offer support to my child and a large group of other children. They will go there and they'll be taught about the planets and astrophysics and some subjects that A-level students do. It's really exciting stuff.
Wow, that's mega.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. You can do so much, and there are all sorts of things going on. There's horse riding, there's basketball, maths groups, there's geography, history, you name it. You can find something that your children are interested in, and we're out every day pretty much in the afternoon.
Will your son and your other children as well, will they have to sit exams at any point?
Mine will. I don't know about my 6-year-old, obviously. I don't know what path he's going to take. He wants to be a spy at the moment. Not that I'm supposed
Wicked.
to tell
I do.
something.
I tell him I want a piece of that as well.
But my eldest, as I've said, he also wants to do something very scientific. So we know that he has to take GCSEs, or we will do international GCSEs, because they don't need a coursework element at the moment. So he will have to do that, have to do it in maths and sciences, and we will find a centre that will take external candidates.
Right. So there's a centre that will adjudicate him, for example. Yeah,
we have to find one. That's one of the hardest things, is that you have to find somewhere to do that. You have to find a school that's willing to take them. You have to pay, as with everything that we do. But we can take them early. So he's probably going to do his physics GCSE next year, the latter part of next year, or early in 2018. So he'll just be 13, but it'll be out of the way, and he can move on to other things. So you find that a lot with children who want to do academic things, but not every home-educated child wants to do that. They find other paths. They might want to do arts, they have art portfolios. There's lots of vocational courses out there as well for 16-year-olds.
This sounds amazing. Honestly, for me as a person that now works in the creative industry, I crying out for this at school, and these things weren't available to me, sadly. And therefore,
I think that's it. Yeah, creative things. It's what children need to be allowed to do. I think.
But to have it, you have to have a brave parent that can do that can provide, is willing to take that risk. And it is a risk, let's be honest, it is what you're doing, but it seems to be working the way that you're speaking about it. Fantastic. Talk to me now then about this meditation school that's set up in Manchester to teach.
Well, the Wonder School, it sounds fantastic. There was a taster session a few days ago, and I know somebody who went there, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and what they sort of said about it. It sounds absolutely fantastic. The ethos is really, like you say, is concentrating on the mental and kind of physical well-being of the children, as well as your academic side of things. And they're trying to teach in a kind of cross-curricular way. So project-based learning, I think, is the main way of doing that. The contrast to mainstream education, of course, is that you hear so much about children, especially at secondary school, which this is aimed at, being very stressed, and not feeling supported. And you read about that in the media quite a lot at the moment. So this is quite nice that there's something there that will offer that alternative.
I've always said that the education service that we provide our children needs to have something that caters for the well-being of their mind. Physical, obviously, I'm guessing that PE teachers might argue with me that they are there for that and in order to educate them on all things regarding food, health, all that type of stuff. But we need to do so much more with people's mind and the way that they think, confidence, all these types of things, getting them in the right frame of mind to be able to deal with the big wide world that they're going to go into. I don't think we do enough. And
I don't think,
things like this are brilliant. But I'm guessing that they come at a premium.
Yes, no, that is one of the issues, and it's not something that we're going to at the moment go to. We did think about it, but the cost is prohibitive to a lot of home educators, because, like I've said already, we're self-funded.
Yeah.
So,
but is it not exclusive to home educators?
Well, it seems to be at the moment, and I think they would be very successful if they maybe looked at marketing it towards maybe people who aren't comfortable in school but don't want to home educate all the time.
Yeah.
Because some schools will let you kind of mix what you do and take your child out, and you can do a bit of both. That is becoming more acceptable. I think they maybe want to go down that line a little bit, because home educators can do a lot of the activities there at home or in groups already. And I think it's just a little bit of a mixed mixed up at the moment. I think it's great, and I think it can be really positive and do extremely well. And I think for children who want to learn, that environment with other children and whose parents aren't confident, perhaps, to educate themselves at home, it would be great. The family who went said it was fantastic. The kids were really engaged. They really enjoyed it. But like I've just said, the activities could be done at home. So I think there's just a few little tweaks with regards to home education. But that is, it will be suitable to other people. There will be people that will think it's, absolutely great for their children. So it's very positive, and it's wonderful that something alternative is starting to creep in there, to offer, a different way of doing things to school children as well.
Now, there will be people listening to my show that are listening to me and you speak and think that we're being just a set of hippies, all right? Now, we've got to give maybe some type of argument. I don't want to put you too much on the spot with this, because it's bad to compare children, I think, at any age. But I've no doubt that you've got friends that have children in mainstream school. So,
yes, we have.
So if you look at how they are emotionally, with the way that they're dealing with everything that they're currently going through, and you compare them to the way that your children are that are going through home education, is there a major difference?
I would say that not for everybody. Some people, and that's just people in general, have differences and can cope with different situations.
Yeah, of course.
But there are children that we know that have been at school, and especially in primary school, when towards the year 6 SATs time, who were very stressed and upset that we knew of, and that affects them quite significantly. You don't have that. My children don't have that, because they don't need to do those exams. They don't need to do the SATs. They don't have that pressure, and they can enjoy learning. And it's one of the main positives of home education, I find, is that you don't have that additional pressure. So there is a difference.
Do you at any point, though, put them under a bit of pressure? Because if they've never felt pressure, I suppose, up until they get to 18, then when they get into the world and they go and work, pressure might come on them and it might be, oh, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I think it's different because you've got children that are going into the world and they're with different age groups. My children will speak to a professor at a university like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And they can cope with, I think they'd be fine with pressure because you're in an environment where you're having to really switch yourself on and put yourself out there a bit. And
because they've been open to so many different things throughout their life, they're a little bit more worldly wise and can appreciate.
They're really confident.
Yeah.
And I think you find that a lot with home, with all of the children that we know. And there's a lot, the social thing is always brought up as an issue. It so isn't. My kids have got lots and lots of friends, and their friends have got lots and lots of friends, and we meet up all the time. They're on Skype at the moment, I think, downstairs. So it's different. It's very.
There's a lot of myths around, isn't it? There's a lot of myths.
There is.
That's why it's great to speak to you because you're dealing with it. You're doing it on a day-to-day basis to get the actual facts of how the day works for you.
Well, that's it. And I've never had, and we live in, where we live, people know we are the home educators on the street, and we've never had a negative comment. My kids are happy, they're polite, they're confident, and they'll get right in there and talk to you, and they're not, as people will say, oddballs or slightly quirky. They're just normal kids. They love Minecraft and, all the things that all their friends do. They're at school. It's, we're not all a bit kooky. So it's, there's different types of people in every walk of life. Our kids are just like anybody else's, but they just have different opportunities, and we can follow their passions. Like we keep saying, we've got one that's going to university being helped there and with his friends, and the other one wants to be a spy, and so we go off and look at fingerprinting and things like that.
I love that. That. But you know what I mean? The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And if we can harness that, if we can harness it and make it come alive for them, then we need to do it. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah, I completely agree.
Just finally, seeing as that we're on the topic of schools, and this is not connected to homeschooling. Well, it might be actually. You don't make them wear a uniform, do you?
No.
The reason why I bring that up is because
only if they're dressing up, for fancy dress, but that's about it.
There's a reason why I brought that up because there's a head teacher that you may have seen in the news that sent on.
Yes, in Kent.
Yeah, sent on 60 children for uniform violations. What's your thoughts on that? Was it a little bit OTT?
I think so. I really do. And I think especially with the Year 7 students who, bless them, turning up on the first day of school to be turned away when you're terrified anyway, and you've got frills on your socks, I just think it's a little bit too much. I think it's quite an archaic system that we have in this country. I don't think we need uniforms, if I'm perfectly honest. And that's not because I'm, hippie. I'm not. Most of my friends will say I'm scientific-minded, and I'm just not like that. I just don't think we need it anymore. I don't think everybody needs to be pigeonholed. Everybody has to be, square peg, square hole. I think we should allow a bit of freedom, and I think that doesn't really impact on learning. If people were allowed to be who they were, possibly we would find learning, they'd be more engaged. Well, concerns perhaps are in the wrong place.
I could not agree more. Do you know something? There's something really refreshing when I do my radio show because 90% of the time people disagree with me and they shout at me. But when I get to speak to somebody that thinks and that has some thoughts that I think, yes, man, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. There's other people out there like me. That's great stuff. Listen, Prue, it's been brilliant to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time.
Not at all. Not at all. Can I just plug my website?
You can do what you want. You've given me your time. Go for it.
It's just because if people want to find out about home ed, I'm not a home ed guru at all, but I can put people in touch with people that might be into similar things that their children are. That's all. It's home adventuresinhomeschool.com. That's it. Adventuresinhomeschool.com. That's fun. Lovely. Nailed it. Prudence, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Thank you. You too. It was lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye.